Good evening, this is Mr. Evans. We are starting a new series tonight, and this one is called The Collier's Junior Classics, published in 1962. Volume 1 is called ABC Go. And there's a short introduction here that I am going to read, and then there's another few paragraphs by a librarian that contributed to the beginning of this. We are children only once, and then only for a few brief years. But these are the most impressionable years of a lifetime. Never again will the world and everything in it be so eternally new, so filled with wonder. Never again will physical, mental, spiritual growth be so natural and unavoidable. During these years, habits can become ingrained, tastes are developed, personality takes form. The child's whole being is geared toward learning. He instinctively reaches out for truth, and having no prejudices, seizes upon that which is good, just, and beautiful. For these reasons, a child deserves what Walter de la Mare has called only the rarest kind of best. What do we mean by best in a book for children? Best books reflect universal truths with clarity and artistry. Such books reveal that man is essentially good, and that life is infinitely worth living. They do not deny the existence of evil, but rather emphasize man's thrilling struggle against evil through faith, courage, and perseverance. They awaken the young reader's imagination, call forth his laughter as well as his tears, help him to understand and to love his fellow man. The reading of such books constitutes a rich heritage of experience, which is every child's birthright. The librarian editors of Collier's Junior Classics have combed the best children's books of the past and present to assemble in a single series a sampling of the finest literature for boys and girls. High standards have been maintained for the artwork also, which in most instances has been taken from the original book. No attempt has been made to cover all fields of knowledge or to include factual material for its own sake. The emphasis here is on good literature, chiefly fiction and biography, folklore and legend, and some poetry. Special attention is given to the American scene and American democratic ideals, but many selections cover other cultures, geographical areas, and historical periods. The purpose of Collier's Junior Classics is to introduce boys and girls to some of the best books ever written for children, to stimulate young readers to seek for themselves the books from which the selections have been drawn, as well as other good books of similar appeal, and to encourage children to become discriminating, thoughtful, lifetime readers. Author, title, and publisher are given at the foot of the page on which each selection opens. This enables readers to ask for the complete book at a library or bookstore. When necessary, brief introductions set the scene for the selection, while follow-up recommendations, complete with publishers' names, appear at the end of most stories. Collier's Junior Classics is a series of 10 individually indexed volumes. ABC Go has been lovingly compiled for the youngest and consists of nursery rhymes, favorite folktales, best-loved poems, and stories for reading aloud. 4 volumes have been assembled for the intermediate group. Once Upon a Time, a wondrous collection of fables, world folktales, and modern fairy tales. Magic in the Air, selections from great masterpieces of fantasy. Just Around the Corner, excerpts from warm-hearted stories of other lands. And In Your Own Backyard, selections from stirring books about our own country. 4 additional volumes cater to the interests of more mature boys and girls. Gifts from the Past, memorable selections from world classics. Legends of Long Ago, selections from great myths, epics, and American tall tales. Roads to Greatness, excerpts from biographies of some of the greatest men and women of the world. And Call of Adventure, selections from action and suspense stories of today and yesterday. Finally, and most unusual of all, is the volume entitled Harvest of Holidays, a feast of stories, poems, documents, and factual material about 22 American national and religious holidays. Although perhaps of greatest interest to the intermediate group, Harvest of Holidays will intrigue and delight all ages. The table of contents for the 10 volumes read like an all-time who's who of distinguished writers. A brief mention of only a few of these authors would include such names as Lewis Carroll, Kenneth Grahame, Charles Dickens, Mark Twain, Louisa May Alcott, Pearl Buck, Laura Ingalls Wilder, Eleanor Estes, Genevieve Foster, Robert Louis Stevenson, Robert McCloskey, Valente Angelo, Carl Sandburg, A. Milne, Eleanor Farjeon, Elizabeth Enright, and Margaret Wise Brown. Among the illustrators, many of whom are also authors, are to be found the Petershams, the Dowlers, Wanda Gog, Louis Slobodkin, Helen Sewell, Lois Lenski, Roger DeVoyson, Maurice Sendak, Kurt Wise, Marguerite DeAngeli, Steele Savage, Howard Pyle, Lynd Ward, James Doherty, Arthur Rackham, Fritz Cradle, and Gustav Dorr. Collier's Junior Classics is intended primarily for the home, although libraries will find the series valuable for browsing as well as for introducing children to many different books. Because each book is an individual volume, complete with its own index, it can be shelved where the librarian believes it will be most useful to the children. No pains have been spared to make the individual volumes a series of stepping stones to all that is best in the magic world of children's books. Rosemary E. Livesey, Coordinator, Children's Services, Los Angeles Public Library, writes, "Childhood is a wonderful whirl of newness. Words are new, sounds are new, rainbows are new. So are dogs, mud pies, rubber balls, and friends. Life is an endless series of wide-eyed adventures filled with a succession of curious whys. In this world where everything is new, where each day brings a fresh discovery, the land of books is the most exciting discovery of all. Between the covers of books lies an enchanted wonderland of words and pictures, a world that delights with the familiar, sparkles with the fantastic. ABC Go is a passport to this enchanted land where the magic of imagination reigns supreme, where time and distance know no bounds. Here young visitors will meet with Old King Cole and Jack Sprat. They will go to the ball with Cinderella and visit Red Riding Hood's grandmother. They will tour the poetic countryside, talking with barbers and ice cream men, and frolicking with fairies in storied glens. They will dance with Kiki, ride to the fair with Little Pear, and cry when Susanna loses her toys. They will visit the 5 Chinese brothers at the other end of the world, stop off in ancient times to see the funny thing, and join Peter Churchmouse on his crusade for recognition. They will love and laugh and learn, all at the same time. For these are the happy hours, the joyous childhood days, when all of life is a wonderful game and all the world is new." The first section is entitled Nursery Rhymes and will be found in our next video.